It's New Year's Eve. Hello. Now, I'm in a bit of a new place because this is the first year in, I would say, give or take 5 years, that I've actually felt the whole, oh, this year's been a year. You know, to be fair, for the past couple of years, life's been life, but I haven't gotten to the end of it and reflected and been like, oh, that was a year, you know? Maybe there were points, maybe there was like a season, but I just took a minute to like walk myself back through life and how many different people I have planned to be. And not like, I need to change myself, so I'm going to come up with this new thing. Like, life will just look one way and I'll be like, I guess this is my life. Like, newsflash, too long don't read. I'm just coming into awareness of life. That's what this entire channel was about. It's just like continuously being like, oh, and this is life. No, and this is life. And oh. But what would it be? Like, it's not as if I was necessarily planning, but I entered this year with goals and plans and dreams. And then February, like, they kind of like solidified. April, they changed a little bit. June, they changed drastically until about October. And then they changed drastically. And then they changed again in November. And now we're in December. And I'm like, usually it's just something that happens around like my birthday and then the end of the year. Life is usually pretty like, but ooh, definitely not. And my life still looks pretty much the same. I think it is only reflecting the internal shifts. Like it's my internal compass, not my moral compass. Like life, I'm in alignment. Just center of gravity completely off. So many times. And yeah, this is the first year in a couple of years that it's felt like that. And then prior to that, New Year's was always, I wasn't really awake. I wasn't really conscious of what was going on. I was living my life. I didn't really I wasn't thinking of things because I was just in pain. So I wasn't thinking about life. So New Year's never really meant much to me. Cause it kind of just rolled by. I'd go to a party and it'd be fun. And that's all it kind of was. New Year's was just kind of like a party. But New Year's intentions, I'd feel that more in end of March. And I still do feel the culmination of Pisces and the move on. And you really feel the zest of Aries kind of creeping in that last week of you feel it. You feel that shift. And that it's always felt more significant. But yeah, New Year's is always just in a party. But this year it's just, yeah, it's one of the first years in a while that I've been oh wow, this year actually just took me for a fool. It took me for a fool. Or I was taken as a fool. I was a fool. I don't know. I feel like that. Come the end of the year, I feel oh, girl. Girl. But it's definitely started to pick back up. But I think something about the Capricorn new moon, New Year's, sorry, I'm balancing on one foot and it's just not, it's not going well. Capricorn new moon, New Year's, there's something happening, I think, with Chiron or Saturn. Again, I've been in touch with astrology things, but I've not been engaged. So That's something I'm going to work on today. Is kind of just like doing a lot of, not even planning. I'm just kind of trying like give myself a bit of a perspective of what's happening, because I've just been, for lack of a better word, checked out. But I felt really checked in the past maybe 2 weeks, which has been really great. And I'm getting like the compass is shifting again. The compass is trying to find a new destination, and it's like been getting closer and closer, and it's kind of feeling like it's going like ding, 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 ding. That's what I feel like this new moon is bringing into me. It's just like like regaining a sense of a confident stride. Does that make sense? Sometimes I wonder if I had never thought about this, I never thought about how I speak before, but recently I had like it's because it's always been relatively well received. But then recently someone was like, I don't know, I feel like you just said a lot of things, it was all very vague and you had a point, but I also don't know what you're saying. And I was like, I can definitely understand what you're saying, because I do just kind of waffle and just say whatever I want to say and hope that it gets received. But now it's like giving me like, that mirror has given me a little bit like, oh, am I making sense? Or do I just like, I think I do just, I don't know if it makes sense. Anyway, side tangent over. What was I talking about? Yeah, so just the culminating feeling, me actually feeling like it's New Year's. I'm feeling like I'm getting a sense of direction and like confidence going forward of like, okay, no, I feel aligned again, somewhat. So I'm going to do some perspective, just looking at some charts. I'm going to look at some charts today, ladies. I'm going to look at the stars, and that's how I'm celebrating my New Year's. It feels good though. Doing some journaling, look at some charts, do some more painting. So naturally, there's been many things. Yeah, everyone's always like, what this year taught me. Well, I don't know who everyone is. Annabelle, who is everyone? What are you talking about? It can be a bit of a thing to like reflect on like your biggest lessons of 2024 or of the year that's passed. And there's honestly just a little bit too many. So the one that's been coming up for me recently is just the one that I want to share, because I feel like it's just a little bit too much to try and be like, karmic wrap up. What have I learned this year from my own wrongdoings? That's for my journal. That's not for here. They are all on here anyway, in just bits and pieces. Some other ones are not. They are for me only. But one that I've been seeing, or not even, I haven't just been seeing it. It's actually something that I've just, on Boxing Day, decided to actually like put into gear, aligning with this lesson, which is tried and true. Like, what is it? What's the rhymey one? Rejection is redirection. It's that, but it's like, it's not even just rejection, but it's just that there's fun ways of saying it. There's some fun ways of saying the lesson, but the lesson in of itself is just to accept. It's accepting your place in the world as something that you do have free will and you have control, but also you are in this pond, this ecosystem of so much more that also has impact and sway over your life. Like there is an element of life that you're in control and an element of life that you're out of control of. And there's often in those moments of transit, like macrocosm and microcosm, like I find in my day-to-day life, when I encounter these problems, it's when I'm moving from one thing to the next, where I'm moving from my house to work or work to lunch. Like if I'm going from one setting to another in transit or transitionary times, that's when the universe gets to like play with me. And it's like that day to day, and it's like that broad spectrum. And again, it's one of those things that I feel like I will never stop coming back to this lesson. You know, it's one of those. I feel like just all I talk about. I feel like my entire channel is just me coming back to these like foundational life lessons again and again and feeling like a fucking baby. But who says that's incorrect? I feel okay being like that. Obviously, I want to see some progression in the interim, but, you know, what is it, the eternal student or whatever it is, I don't know. Yeah. What was I saying? The lesson. I started noting it on my flight home, so around the 20th or the 21st or whatever. Prior to that week, like maybe the last half of December, there was a song that was coming on my playlist a lot, and my ears, generally I'm somebody that, you know, there's like, I feel like there's a few different ways to listen to music, and I feel like the most common two are like lyrics people or rhythm people. And I'm definitely like a rhythm person. I don't always, I could be singing the lyrics to a song and I have not heard them. Like in the sense of, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they're conveying. I don't know the story, but I could know every single lyric to that song. I just haven't thought about it because I just more like the sound is what I'm pulled to. I'm drawn to the rhythm. I'm drawn to the feel of it more than the narrative. And I finally started, like my hearing would tune in to a part of this song. It's called Promised by Quinny, who, oh my god, I love her. Her song Touch Tank, yes. But Promised is one of her songs that I've been listening to, and she has a line of like, maybe those are, I don't know what the line is exactly, but it's along the lines of like, maybe you missed the green light for a reason. Hi. Like maybe you missed that green light for a reason. Maybe it was keeping you safe. Like the universe is always watching kind of thing. And then I began to notice that my ears would tune into that line, and I'd really like take it on. And then on Boxing Day, I was just having a rough time getting home. So I was supposed to get 4 trains and I was getting them all in, and they were all like, they were all pretty much timed on like this like trip app thing, like where you plan a trip. It was like, I'll get to a platform, I'll have to change, I'll get at a station, have to change platforms, and then my next train will arrive within, it's usually within 3 to 6 minutes, like anywhere between that time. So it wasn't having to wait a long time. It was all just going to be really smooth and beautiful, and I was going to get home and it was going to be great. And I was like really relieved initially. But then when I like got off my plane, I realized I had to get the baggage that I checked in, and so I was a bit anxious. I was going to miss my train, and I missed the first one, but I had to get checked baggage, and I had to get my oversized baggage because I had a fucking massive suitcase and a massive painting. And that was one of the first things I was like, okay, no, like you have to do these things. You can't rush like airport like employees. Like you can't rush this process. You're at mercy to this. So if you miss the train, you miss the train, it's fine. Missed the first train, it was still fine. And then on like the second last train that I had to get, I was at the station, and this is one where I had 4 minutes to get to the other platform, but it was going to take genuinely 2 minutes to get over the other side of the platform. And I was going up to the lift, and it was me and a guy with the pram, and then just like a bunch of tweens. And bless you guys, I know tweens don't watch me, and that's fine, but I'm just sending this blessing out in general. Y'all are doing your thing. Y'all are doing your thing. You're doing your thing. You know, you're pushing boundaries. You're self-centered. You want to have fun. You're on holidays. I get you, girly pop. Bunch of tweens filled up the elevator, all able-bodied, all from what I could see. There was nothing that meant that they needed to have priority of the lift. But they just got there first, like seconds before me and this guy with the pram walk up to the lift. All file in, and then the doors shut as me and the guy in the pram, and we like walk up the lift, and we're like, for fuck's sake, are you kidding? And they're just like fucking around on the lift a little bit. Anyway, I get to the platform that I'm supposed to leave on, and as I'm like coming off the lift, the train is just leaving, and I was like, oh no. I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry, I was so angry. I was so angry that I sat down on a bench, and a guy sat down next to me, like 2 spaces over, and he was needed to undo his suitcase to like rearrange his clothes or whatever. And in him undoing his suitcase, it was rattling like the conjoint bench, and it was making me so mad. Because I was so upset, I was so tired, and I was so angry. Just the movements of the seat were enough to piss me off that I had to actually stand up and leave. Otherwise, I was like, I am getting so angry at this man, and he's doing nothing but just like sorting his shit out. I need to like remove myself. And I tried calling one of my friends and she didn't pick up, and then I tried calling another one of my friends, and I stayed on the phone for her from that point for like 5 hours. And we had been meaning to catch up because there was some stuff that we need to share and like just like touch base in life. And we finally got to. And it ended up being the thing that I needed to do. And I'd been meaning to contact this friend, and like I was going to try and find time for it, but I just realized I was at this platform and I was like, I have an hour and a half to wait. Like, I can talk now. And I did. And I felt angry and I felt shitty, and I was like, ugh. And I handled myself, and I like just tried to like calm down and be like, okay, no, take it in stride. What can I do? Oh, I can I'm waiting. I can call friends. I can talk to people. And that was like a good solidifier of that lesson. And then in like the following days, it's only been like 4 or 5 days since then. In the following days, there's been little parts of me just needing to go, okay, why am I waiting for this timing? Okay, why is this happening? Like, it's just getting me to pause and be in that state of awareness that can, it seems to be like the fast track to like peace and acceptance, you know? Because if you're always questioning, if you're always asking and going, like, oh no, like maybe questioning, asking is not the right thing, but if you're always reacting, that's what I want to say. If you're in a constant state of reaction to what's happening about you, you're in a constant state of, you're at the mercy of what's going on. And that's not saying that you're not at the mercy of what goes on in general anyway, but at least if you can give yourself that moment to go, no, remember the wisdom. Remember that sometimes things happen for a reason, and even the reason, if it's like, it doesn't always mean your life's going to change forever. It just means that it might give you an opportunity that you otherwise wouldn't have taken. It's similar as like I say that this other thing that I heard about abundance a couple of days ago came into mind, which is like abundance. There's a lot of ways that people view abundance, but foundationally it is the belief or the feeling, the knowledge that you have all that you need to do or to enact whatever you need to do at any given moment. And sometimes that is money, but sometimes that's also like, sometimes that's the reason why like people stop messaging you and you end up like having time alone, because maybe you need time alone. That's the reason why maybe like all of a sudden you remember that you have some insurance claims that you can file. They'll get more money because maybe you're not working around the holidays, and it's like, how the fuck am I going to get money to pay rent? Maybe you remember that thing at that time so that money can come in. Like, maybe plans change and you end up having an entire day to yourself, and you end up being able to make use of that time. That would have been equally as enriching, rather than like catching up, seeing a person, or whatever your plans initially were. Like, I don't know, those two seem to like have some kind of intrinsic meaning to one another. Abundance and like, or like accepting half the role that you have, which is, you know, you receive what happens to you. Like, the world, timing, shifts, other people, natural events, they're going to impact your life. But then what you can do is then receive it, and what matters is how you receive it, and then what you then do in return. That is who you are, and that is how you are. And within that, if you are somebody who can identify abundance in your life, and in the ways in which you are abundant, and the way in which you to take stock of what you have around you, and to realize that it is what you need for this moment, no matter what else your brain might tell you, or like thoughts or beliefs or expectations that are in your mind might tell you. If you can train that muscle of recognition and awareness and looking at your life and taking stock and valuing what you have currently with you and using what you have with you around you, then that's who you are. You're somebody who can see. You're somebody who is abundant. You have abundance by being able to see it. Does that make sense? Sometimes I feel like it's like, sometimes like going, like, because it's helpful for me to like run through everything, so I'm making sure that I understand it. But then sometimes it feels more understood when I don't say it, and when I try to like solidify or like create the meaning of my thoughts and my understanding, then I start to lose it all. And other times I feel like, yeah, and other times I feel like, no. But you know what? It is what it is. I wonder how long ago I saw that video, because it's one of those things that will stay in my brain forever. And I will forever hear "it is what it is" in that "it is what it is" voice, you know? But yeah. But yeah. Sorry, the thought, like the connecting thought of like the reverse reflection of that lesson has also been coming out in like my creativity and like trying to re-engage my painting muscle and trying to paint again. And I'm thinking of starting artist way again. I've said that 3 times this year, and I actually did it once. I started again and got up to week 5 and then stopped again. I think I'm gonna start it again because I need it. I need it. It's such a good program and I've never finished it. But it is, you feel how effective it is like immediately, which is great. But I've given myself 2 canvases for however long that I'm just gonna be painting on continuously, and they're not bound by the expectation that they have a finished product. Because yeah, the mirror of accepting the random things that happen to me, to us, to life, I'm also trying to carry it through to me being the thing that then affects the painting, and sometimes in like very random or curious or just like divinely led way, like exercising that channel of like this one painting. I'll give you an example. This is one of the ones that I've just been adding to and like not holding it to any standard, because it started off, I don't know if you can kind of see, not the horizontal ones, but like the vertical stripes. They were to cover up, because I started painting something, and I don't know if I'd ever actually be able to see it again, but I started painting something, and all I remember is hating it. I can't remember what it was, but I remember not liking it, and I remember just angrily getting like black and brown and red, just like putting it all over the canvas and just painting it. This was maybe like a year ago, and I just let it sit there and I did nothing with it until 2 weeks ago, where I painted, I don't know if you can see them. There's this like dark blue kind of swirl up here and like through there, just these like dark blue swirly things, and then there's like 2 purple squiggles, and I think the next thing I did was a heart. Next thing I did with these little sunbursts. You can kind of see the remnants of one there. But I had these 2 sunbursts, and then I wanted to go back and work on these 2 purple, they're initially these 2 dark purple ones. And my brain, like I was thinking about what I wanted to do next. I was like, like I obviously want to keep going, but I don't know where I'd go. And my eyes kept on being drawn to these 2, what are they called? Squiggles. And I wanted them to become one. I wanted them to be one big squiggle. But in order to do that, I was gonna have to cover up one of these like sunbursty thingies. And I was like, oh, but like I really like it. Like they're so pretty and they're sparkly and I like it. But I tried to find every other avenue of like an area of this painting that I felt like my eyes felt drawn to. Like I felt, ooh, like I want that. And there was nothing else. It just wasn't coming to me. So I bit the bullet and I painted over it with this acknowledgement of like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. Me talking about a painting. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'll do it because this is what I want to do. It's what my eyes want to do. If I want to put this back there, I can always just draw it back on. I know how to do it. And I want to allow myself to enjoy putting this over and not be like regretful and not be hesitant and to be anything but completely sure and completely okay with like this choice. Which, again, it feels like I'm having such a huge emotional process over something really tiny, but that's art. That's creation, is like confronting these like parts of you that feel blocked or feel unsure and teaching yourself to move through that experience and know that everything's going to be okay. That's what I'm doing. And instead of my life being the variable that gets affected, it's just my painting. And with it being affected by me. Like I am the universe and I am the God and this is my little subject. And it felt good. And I am unfortunately now afraid that the next thing I'm gonna have to do is like paint over this heart, which I really don't want to do because it's so cute. It's so cute and pretty. But like, that's all it really is. Like it's not like I said, this painting is not really, it's not really anything. It's not channeling anything. It's just kind of me confronting myself over and over and over again, and often on different things. And that's the thing that my brain's now focusing on, is like, this is really pretty. And that doesn't necessarily mean that my go-to is going to be like, destroy it. But I want to push that edge of like, I feel like something wants to go on here, like in this section, and that's going to cover up a little bit of this. And that just has to be okay. So you have to trust the process, you know? Anyway. Yeah. That's the thing that I'm ending this calendar year on, is trusting the process and enjoying, like surrendering to life and trying to like engage with and trust that lesson on my day-to-day, because there are some, I guess, why I made it such a point to implement it in my day-to-day life and to remember this lesson in my day-to-day and to centralize it as like the thing that I want to define my choices for this period of time, is that I have some things that in retrospect I want to be able to let go in a similar way. And so that's my intention with like connecting with this lesson. And yeah, I'm just trying to follow it through. I'm trying to follow it through in my day-to-day, but I'm also trying to enact that lesson. I'm trying to be both sides of the karma, the masculine and the feminine, the receiver and the doer. That's what I've really been focusing on. And it's been feeling really good. If you want to have like a similar like flow process, look at where the moon's transiting. Which house? Because mine's transiting my 5th house. If you know anything about astrology, 5th house is creativity and inner child and children and romance, relationships. It's everything like fun and frivolous and passionate. But yeah, there's like, I think why I say that is because the way I'm working through this moon energy is through creativity and art, the way that I am enacting it. And then I think the way that I've been like receiving its reflection is through 11th house stuff, I think. Again, I kind of need to sit down and go through charts and stuff to actually know if what I'm saying is true in regards to astrology, because I've been a bit disengaged. But anyway, I hope you're going through whatever you're going through as well as you can, and trust that there's always a part of you that is trying your best. And if you can't trust that there is, that's your new job, is to develop the trust that there is a part of you that's always trying your best, because that's the fact. You just gotta go find it. It's one of the most helpful things. It's one of the most helpful things. Maybe that's like the bigger lesson for like for life. Is just having your own back and having that connection to the part of you that is always having your own back is one of the biggest support systems you can ever give yourself. I really like my fingers on the, just feels cool. Anyway, that's a half an hour now. This is at half an hour. I'm gonna go. I have a bunch of old stuff that I need to like donate, just sitting at my front door, which is just maybe not the best energy to bring into the new year. Maybe I need to move that outside. If you're doing whatever you need to do for the new year, celebrating with friends or with family or with yourself, or with animals or with nature, I'm also thinking maybe I'll go, if I can be bothered to put some camping stuff in my car, I might go sleep by a lake or something. I don't know, just a plan. I'm really trying to today take every step with like intention of like, this is what I want to bring into this next 6-month cycle. And because it's an earth moon, I find that when you actually live out those intentions in the material world, it sticks a bit more, or write them down. So yeah, and I do want to I want to go out in my car, and like I do want to go camping some more, because I used to have an avenue, like a social avenue of doing that a lot, and now I don't really do that anymore. So I want to try and do that for myself. Otherwise, I'm going to do some charts and maybe some more painting, or planning of painting. Yeah. I hope you have a good direction for this celebration. If you feel it, if you don't, if you are someone that like feels more of just the moon, but then like whatever it is, if you're feeling more of the moon, if you're feeling more of the New Year's, whatever it means for you, I hope that you're at least aware of it and can make the most of it. That's all. Bye.